Technology is fascinating with all the clubs now.
Here's Ian Poulter. Oh.
I see a red stake down there.
Oh, and they're still looking for Ian Poulter's tee shot. But there is Ian in the all whites. So Mark Wilson, our rules guru in the 18th tower, and did not hit a provisional mark.
They're currently searching for Ian's ball that we saw go well to the right of the 8th hole. And there is a small lateral water hazard over on this side of the hole. But in order to treat it as lost in the hazard, there needs to be what the rules call virtual certainty. In other words, are we virtually certain? Are we certain that the ball is lost in the hazard, or could it be lost somewhere else? And if there's doubt as to where the ball is lost, Mr. Poulter's going to have to treat this as a stroke and distance situation, and a rover will certainly take him back to the tee if he needs to do so.
Now, Mark, in your experience, would you have any doubt that that ball has gone in the hazard? Because I, as a player, certainly would think that if we can't find it in that grass, it's definitely gone in that hazard somewhere. What would your ruling be on that?
I think the thing is that there's so many places the ball could ricochet, and you probably know that from your experience as well. When it strikes a tree or a rock, there are so many places it might end up that that they can't say with the degree of certainty that's necessary to proceed under the water hazard rule, and instead they'll have to treat it as a lost ball.
It's got to be within the hazard lines. I mean, it's got to be within the hazard.
So they're having that discussion with the referee, Cliff Shabazz from the USGA right now.
There's no chance that it's not going to be. No, because it's clearly within the hazard.
They certainly have started the 5-minute clock for the search, and
I think the only reason they were looking up there is close across. Yeah. It said they thought they'd see that by that stop.
Not as close as I'm getting.
You know, you heard Jordan say just a second ago,
the
said there's no doubt
referee
it's
assisting them.
in the hazard.
Here's the referee assisting them with a search, and he'll help them come to the conclusion whether there's virtual certainty that the ball is in the hazard.
As you were saying there, Ernie, I heard the same thing you did. I heard Jordan saying there's no doubt in his mind that the ball went into the hazard. Ian Poulter was agreeing with him. And once we reach that 5-minute mark, which
you could hear Ian say the referee has a stopwatch, which he certainly does in terms of the 5-minute timing.
Well, that time should be just about up, according to our guys in the truck, from when the group arrived at the scene and began the search.
I would be like Jordan. I'd be saying, where else could it be? We saw it go there. We saw it bounce there. I'd be saying exactly what Jordan's saying. Hey, but that's the rule.
I'm with you 100% on that, Ian. In my mind, there's no doubt that ball has gone in the hazard.
What? You're absolutely kidding me. Jordan just said it's in the hazard. You are kidding. Jordan! Jordan! Well, I've got to tell you, it's straight from here across, right? And it's cutting 30 yards short in this zone right here. This is all red. If it's in the green, we would see it and we would find it, sir. Where could it have gone? You are kidding me. listen. No, I'm telling you, all this way right here is hazard. Right? It's cutting in this zone here and coming down along this line. If it's here, we would see it. You've got to be kidding me. You've absolutely got to be kidding me.
You okay with that?
The referees basically said we don't know for sure. You've got to go back to the tee. That's what the argument's about.
And saw the ball up here. Oh, you're kidding me. Right there. Ball in that cup. Is this in here? Yeah. You got a red board? No. No. Black 7. It's 30, 40 yards short than his ball. I mean, seriously. I mean, huh?
Where would you assume that the ball crossed this margin?
Well, Jordan. I want. Huh? Red 7. It's too late now.
But it's black anyway.
It's black anyway.
Black 7.
Huh? It matters.
We've already made the decision. So, where would you assume that the ball crossed the
Well,
hazard?
I would assumed it crossed here.
Okay.
But now what's the rule, right?
Because
That ball's lost.
that ball's lost because it's more than 5 minutes. We were assuming that this is where it went. So even though we found it over there at the time before we found it, we thought we were certain that this was where it crossed. So this is where we're going to use.
Okay.
So you've got that point between you and the pole, or that point 2 club lengths no near the pole.
Okay. And if I drop it here, is this casual?
Yeah,
in
they've
here?
just concluded that it's in the hazard.
Is this deemed in? Is casual water in here?
During your stance, if any were to come up.
Now here's the way our cameras caught it.
Go back in line down here, John.
Yeah, I'm just looking what.
There you go. Came down right there near that red stake.
Away, like under the tree and stuff.
No, well I've got the rocks in the way, so it would be easier from here, right?
Yeah.
To just get it somewhere up on the tree.
Ernie, that was some unbelievable.
Okay, so Mark, I mean, we're trying to piece this together. Did they find the ball, but after the time had run out?
And
it was not in the hazard, correct?
What they essentially pieced together based on the camera evidence was that, based on the camera evidence, they were virtually certain that the ball was in the hazard, and so they've gone with the ruling that the ball actually last crossed the margin of the hazard, and that's what Cliff Shabazz was helping Ian with. So here's a case where, based on the camera evidence, they were virtually certain that the ball was in the hazard, even though ultimately the ball was found outside the hazard. And so this is a case where they've made the decision, and based on the camera evidence and this concept of virtually certain, and Ian's going to proceed under the lateral water hazard ruling.
And for me,